Hello everybody, good evening and welcome to the United Stand. What next with Cristiano Ronaldo, Eric Ten Hag, Manchester United? Well, we're currently awaiting what next because we know the full interview comes out on Wednesday and Thursday night, but we're also awaiting little drips that we're going to get. I mean, Piers Morgan is like a pig in shit, isn't he? He's absolutely loving this and he's milking it like a cow. It's like the Glazers with Man United and their dividends. I mean, he's just dropping it out there, and you know what? I'm very uncomfortable with that. By the way, I'm very uncomfortable like that. I've got to say this: people seem to think I'm on Ronaldo's side. I'm not. I just live my life in a very pragmatic way. I don't go red, I don't go green, I go amber, and I wait till I've got all the evidence. But I do not like the whole drip effect until Wednesday, Thursday. It's massively disrespectful to Man United fans. It's massively disrespectful to Manchester United Football Club. It's massively disrespectful to Ten Hag. You've got an interview, put the fucking interview out. None of this drip till Wednesday, Thursday. We are a fucking show. We are a bloody circus now. And Ronaldo and Piers Morgan are dictating that circus. If you respect the fans, put the fucking interview out, because I'm getting a bit pissed off of the drip effect to Wednesday, Thursday. It's becoming the Ronaldo and Piers Morgan show, and I'm not comfortable with that. I've got no problem with the interview. I think anybody who's moaning about the interview is having a laugh. This was going to be a really boring week, and we've got loads to discuss, so I'm all for that. And I think that it won't damage the fact that Ronaldo's going to go anyway. But the drip, it's treating us like twats, really, isn't it? Get the bloody interview out and then we can move on, because it is damaging. It is damaging to Manchester United. There's no doubt about that. But look, there's also other stuff coming out. What next? Plettigol has come out and said that PSG are interested, that Chelsea may still be interested, Sporting Lisbon. So that's interesting to discuss that. But look, a lot of people are saying it in the chat, and I completely agree with it. I think it's ridiculous how it's being drip fed. We got it last night. We're getting more tonight. We'll get more tomorrow. We'll get the full interview on Wednesday. The second half on Thursday. It will still be going on Friday. Can we just not have the old? It's treating people like thickos, really. Can we not have the whole interview and digest it ourselves? Why are we being given little bits here, there, and there that could be completely out of context? Could be loads of backstory to why Ronaldo disrespects Ten Hag. There could be absolutely none. We deserve to be given the truth. If there's real respect for Manchester United fans, why are we not getting the truth now? Why are we having to wait because of, at the end of the day, let's call it what it is, exposure for brand Ronaldo and brand Piers Morgan? That's what it is. They're just leaking it out. God, I'd love to have the interview. I'm sure we all would. But if I had the interview, I wouldn't drip feed it like this. I'd put it out there, because Man United fans would quite rightly be going absolutely mad. It needs to be put out there. We need to know the full context. I think there will be stuff that comes out tonight, maybe tomorrow, about the Glazers that make people feel very happy, and you're going to go through the emotions. But don't do it. It says, but when Man United disrespects Ronaldo, it's okay. Mate, I'm not Man United. I'm not the owners. I'm not Glazers. I'm not the board. I'm somebody who gets called very loyal to Cristiano Ronaldo. I feel a bit disrespected by this, don't you? As somebody who stood by Ronaldo and still thinks he's a legend of the club, why are we being drip-fed information? Why do we have to suffer? Give us the bloody truth. Don't treat us like bloody kids at Christmas waiting to find out what present's next. Give us the truth. I get the fact that Ronaldo's probably got good grounds to be pissed off with United potentially, but it's not the fans, is it? Trending for 2 weeks this way, says Chris. Yeah, and I don't like this. And as I said, Piers Morgan has his good parts and his bad parts, but I think this is, this is somebody that was a few months ago slagging off Arteta because he dropped Aubameyang, and now he looks a complete mug. So look, forgive me, I find Piers Morgan entertaining, but let's not pretend it's highbrow journalism. Let's not pretend that he's, Michael Parkinson. He's very far from that. Anyway, look, we'll have to just wait for it to get dripped out, and we'll see what it's all about. But look, where we go from here next is very interesting. Just before I came live there was a story that there is grounds for United to terminate Ronaldo's contract. Obviously, was a story coming in from Plettigol, who's a decent journalist from Germany, saying that PSG have an interest in Ronaldo. Chelsea have an interest in Ronaldo. We as fans can't say no to that, by the way. PSG and Chelsea may well say no to it, let's be real, but we as fans can't say, no, he's not going to PSG and he's not going to Chelsea. You can't say, get out of my club, like some people are, and then say, but you can't go to Chelsea and you can't go to PSG. If you terminate his contract, you can go where he bloody well likes. And I'd be very interested if he did go there, wouldn't it? Because, you know, if you're saying he's not good enough for Man United, but then he goes to PSG or Chelsea and scores goals, that's a problem for United. So, look, I'm not saying that's the right thing to do. I'm not saying that's going to happen. He might end up playing in Saudi Arabia. Who knows? But the World Cup is a window for him. I think it's interesting. I think at the moment, Ten Hag comes out of this, thankfully, with his reputation intact and everybody behind him, because that's what we want to do. And he deserves that. And I don't think he's done anything wrong. And I think he has been respectful publicly. I don't know what's gone on privately, but publicly, I can't agree that... I mean, he gave him the bloody captaincy last week, didn't he? So I think at the moment, Ten Hag is coming out of this very, very well without actually saying anything. Ronaldo, obviously, we await the next drip feed of the information, as I said. For Manchester United, it must be a bloody nightmare. And there are good people who work at Manchester United. Can I just say, Manchester United... Everybody who works for Manchester United sometimes gets thrown in unfairly into the Glazers and the Richard Arnolds and the Woodwards and the Murtas, who, you know, rightly or wrongly, do get a lot of the blame for the situation we're in. I've never sat down and had a conversation with John Murta. He might be a nice guy, but as director of football, you're going to get targeted because of the transfers and, you know, all that sort of stuff. That's what happens. But beyond those names, there's a lot of good people who work at Manchester United, and it will be a bloody nightmare for them today. You know, it's funny, I was talking to Mrs. Goldbridge about this, and she, you know, doesn't have a massive interest in football, but she knows who Ronaldo is, and she was saying, you know, at the end of the day, it doesn't really sit right, does it, that he's, you know, the way he's done it, because it's very disrespectful to his employers and Manchester United Football Club to do it in the way that it's being done, where their name and reputation is being dragged through the mud all week. You know, there was better ways of dealing with this. I mean, he could have recorded the interview and told Manchester United that he's got the interview, and how do they want to deal with it? I mean, would that not be the best thing to have done? He could have recorded the interview with Piers Morgan, sent a few clips to Richard Arnold and said, that's landing in 48 hours if we don't sort out my future. Yes, it's blackmail, but look, Man United probably would have gone along with it and gone, yeah, Cristiano, we do not want this out there. Let's sit down and talk. So why was that not offered to Manchester United? So I understand that Manchester United will be mightily pissed off. Obviously, some people would not have a lot of sympathy with that because of who owns Manchester United, but it could have been handled a lot better. And, you know, I think the video we did this afternoon with Fabrizio was spot on. It should have been dealt with in August. But Man United will be taking legal advice. They can't stop the interview. They may well... I mean, look, Man United can terminate his contract. Is that not what Ronaldo wants? So, would Man United sue Ronaldo? God, no. They wouldn't do that. Man United will lose financially in this. I think Erik Ten Hag will win because they'll have to replace Ronaldo, and Ten Hag will hopefully get what he wants and he won't have Ronaldo anymore. I think Ten Hag will win, but brand Manchester United will lose because they will ultimately never get any transfer fee for Ronaldo now. They cannot keep him at the club on £500,000 a week, so they will lose money one way or another. Hi Mark, the second interview is Thursday at 8, straight after Portugal's friendly. It is distracting Ronaldo and the team and is completely unfair, says Arthur. Ronaldo is entitled to feel like how he feels in terms of drips. This is the strategy, and why shouldn't they capitalise? They all do this. This is his time, says International. Well, mate, you completely proved my point. Ronaldo and Piers Morgan have got every right to do exactly what they want in relation to drip feeding this interview, and I have got every right to sit here and say it's a fucking disgrace, because it is, you know, playing with the emotions of Manchester United fans that Ronaldo is meant to love. Put the interview out there. Let us have the interview. Stop acting like bloody social media whores who are just wanting clips and to feed it out. Give us the context. You know, if you want to put the truth out there, put the truth out there. You're not releasing a bloody blockbuster film. You know, this ain't a Marvel film. This is Manchester United. This is people's livelihoods. This is people's passion. Let's get the story out there. Let's know what's going on. Hi, Mark. Do you think the Glazers are going to spend big in January, especially if Ronaldo criticises the board in interviews, says Hanif? Well, we spoke about that with Fabrizio. I think we will be in for a busy January. Hi, Mark. Can you sing this with Viva Ronaldo melody? Goodbye, Ronaldo. Yeah, I'm not going to do that, pair. I haven't seen this much outrage since Princess Diana did that interview with Martin Bashir, says Yellow Bathing Suit. And what was that? There was another one here. I think I missed it. I don't want to miss it. Hi, Mark. I've done that. There was another chat there that I don't want to miss, but it's just whizzed by. Here we go. Hi, Mark. Mark, you never got back to me on the possible interview. Sent a DM and email, says Gabriel Gomez. Sorry, I've missed it, mate. Hi, Mark. I'll have another look. Hi, Mark. We've done that one from Arthur as well. Very busy at the moment, mate. Sorry as well. Get Ronaldo out of my club, says A11. Well, you know, that's your opinion. You're entitled to it, aren't you? But look, what happens next? I think a lot of people are wanting to know what happens next. And there's numerous things that are going to happen next. Manchester United are going to take their advice on what they want to do. I predict they'll terminate the contract. I predict they might do that. If I was Man United, I'd terminate his contract the day before Portugal's first game if they wanted to be really, really bitchy about it. But I think they will terminate the contract. Obviously, we've got the full episode coming out on Wednesday and Thursday night, so it's going to be in the news all week. It's going to be on front page all week. I mean, I was listening to my local radio station about an hour ago, and they had it as a headline. So it's everywhere. It's absolutely everywhere. It's huge. And as I said, Piers Morgan's going to be grinning like a Cheshire cat because that channel that he works on, Talk TV, no one really bloody watches it. But, you know, he's got a massive interview now, hasn't he? And at the expense of Manchester United. And as an Arsenal fan, he's going to love it. Of course he is. And thirdly, I think United need to move on from this as soon as possible. I mean, it would almost be beneficial for Manchester United to terminate the contract tomorrow before the interview comes out. They're never going to do that. But there's nothing Man United can do. There's nothing they can do. They've just got to sit back and take it until Friday when they know everything that's going to be said. Do you think Ronaldo has played his last game for us, Abhishek? 100%. Cristiano Ronaldo's last game for Manchester United was Villa Park, Aston Villa away. He won't play again. Piers is probably trying to convince Ronaldo to go to Arsenal. Also, he's commenting on a match against Spurs where we were losing 2-0. He doesn't watch United yet. He thinks he knows everything. Oh, mate, I heard him on TalkSport this morning. As I said, this is not highbrow journalism. This is Piers Morgan. This is not Michael Parkinson. It's Piers Morgan. Some of his fact-checking was really bad. But look, you know what? You can't argue with the fact that it's trending nationally, worldwide, and everywhere else. If it means Brand United loses, but Team United wins by getting players in January, then it'll be worth it. So Stephen, is it true that Ronaldo said he didn't respect Rangnick because he'd never heard of him? Yes, Louis. Which I think was I actually liked Rangnick. In hindsight, what Ronaldo has done is absolutely wrong. Seem like the sacrifice made by a general of the army to make King look like scum. The Glazers' out movement garners more momentum, and Ronaldo goes. It's a sheesh. Respect Ronaldo. It's our game, not just Man United, says Liam Deegan. Do you think at some point he will mention the Maguire issues? I don't know, Levi. I mean, if Piers Morgan's a half decent interviewer, he will 100% mention Harry Maguire. And I think some players will be a little bit worried because some players are worried at Manchester United. So I don't know that Ronaldo will mention individual players. I don't think he should do, but you never know, he might do. And he may well get asked questions about that. But I hate everything about this, from the fake tweets by Madrid fans to Piers Morgan trying to belittle as proper circus as Nick P. I don't like the circus. I'm intrigued by the interview. It's out there. You know, you can't argue with the fact that it's big news on a week where we thought it was going to be very quiet. I agree with what somebody said there before. If this damages brand Manchester United, it will benefit team Manchester United. And one thing that sticks in my mind is that we spoke about this a couple of weeks ago, basically after Ronaldo stormed off. And I think most of us agreed that Ronaldo needs to go, Ten Hag wants him to go, and Ronaldo gets what he wants, Ten Hag gets what he wants. Nothing will change what Ronaldo was as a legend for Manchester United. Ten Hag becomes the future, and Ronaldo gets replaced. Well, that benefits the team, it benefits Ronaldo, it benefits Ten Hag, and it benefits us, the fan. And we were talking about that 2 weeks ago. So if that situation happens, which it is clearly going to happen, it benefits Ten Hag, it benefits the football side of United, it benefits the fans, and it benefits Ronaldo. So if this is what it takes for that to definitely happen, and it will, we do actually benefit. I'm not sat there as a United fan ranting and raving, disgusted and disappointed. I'm sad, but ultimately I think everyone will get what they want. The people who will lose out are brand Manchester United, the Richard Arnolds, the Glazers, because they're going to lose a lot of money. They're going to then have to replace Ronaldo, and they've spent money to get rid of Ronaldo. We can't survive in January with Ronaldo leaving and not replacing him. We've got nobody. You know, I don't think Rashford's a striker. Martial can't stay fit. And then you're relying on kids. So we've got to buy someone in January, which for us was the right thing to do in the summer. We should have let Ronaldo go in the summer, and then we should have replaced him. Also, I think there's a massive topic here that's positive that people don't realise. And I'm sure it's strenuous and stressful for Erik Ten Hag. But has anyone considered what I tweeted before? In his first 6 months as Manchester United manager, Erik Ten Hag has probably faced more stress and more issues than most managers face in their whole career. Like the dramas he's had to deal with. And some people are even saying that there's an issue with Sancho, which I think is completely unfounded, but we'll have to wait and see. The Mason Greenwood thing has been bubbling away. That's something that Ten Hag would have been aware of. He's got the Ronaldo thing. He's got his first season taking on a shit side. He's got, bad results. I mean, he has had to deal with a lot. And yet he's come out the other side with a team that's in a relatively good position in the league. Ronaldo is going to go. He's going to get a replacement in January. He's probably going to get a right back in January as well. The footballing side is starting to improve. But all the stuff, I mean, there was a lot of ex-players and there was a lot of journalists saying that this job was too big for Ten Hag, and managing in the Eredivisie with Ajax, with all due respect, is not the same as managing Manchester United. And yet, in his first 6 months, he's dealt with more than Solskjaer dealt with in 3 years. And that can only stand him in good stead. I know it's a baptism of fire, and he's learning at the sharp end, but if he comes through it, which I think he will, in a way, going through all that's not a bad thing. All the experiences he's got. I mean, how often do you get to deal with with one of the best players that's ever played the game going on strike and calling you out and win? So I don't think it's all negative. I think it's frustrating that we've got to go through it all, but I don't think it's all a negative. I think Ten Hag's coming out of this very, very well. The experience of it is going to be massive for him. I mean, look, you play up front for Manchester United as a 17-year-old and you play at Anfield and you score. It's far better than playing Carabao Cup games. And, that game at Anfield where you scored will make you grow a lot quicker than a Carabao Cup game or training with the first team. And basically, Ten Hag, I mean, he is learning at the sharp end and he's surviving it. Good topic for some polls, Mark. My opinion is he's thrown the toys out the pram. No player bigger than the club. He leaves in disgrace. I disagree, Skin. How do you think this Ronaldo interview compares to Van Gaal, Mourinho, Ranić and others who have criticised the Glazer way of running Man United? It's Mr. Glenn Johnson. Well, we need the full interview to find out. I love all your content. Number one legend, heartbroken over Ronaldo. Interview, he's gone, says Gary. Mark, there's more to the story. This is why we have to wait for the full interview. I agree with you, be awesome. 100%. I think you've got to wait for the whole interview, and we've said that. Look, what's next as well? I suppose in the context of talking about what's next, we've also got to say, Michael says gold spinning narrative. Mate, I actually, I don't normally big myself up. It's not what I'm all about. But I actually think the way that we've dealt with it compared to some of the podcasts I've listened to, some of the headlines I've listened to, I think most of the coverage I've seen has just been very, very, and it is their right. 99% of people I've listened to or read have been absolutely gone in on Ronaldo and that's their stance. My stance has been very, sad, but I don't agree with what Ronaldo's done, but I also think we've not had the full interview either. And I it's a 90-minute interview and we've had about 5 minutes, 5 or 10 minutes max. So I'm very much like, there's clearly going to be a lot more meat on the bones. I mean, apparently there's stuff about Gary Neville. So there's stuff about the Glazers. So for me, it's about assessing the whole thing. What I can say with total conviction is I don't agree with the way it's been drip fed. I think it has created a circus. That really does piss me off. And I also think that Ronaldo has to go and we have to replace Ronaldo. And they're the constants for me. But ultimately, I do think that those things are actually positive for everybody. What does the interview do to us in regards of future signings? It must have an impact. It won't have an impact at all, Edvin. In fact, it may have a positive impact. Hi, Mark. As Ben said, he's 37. He's a legend. Erik Ten Hag is the future. This seems like a real clean slate and should be used as a positive. I don't disagree with you, Liam. Whatever about Ronaldo, but does anyone miss Fellaini, says Finn. Thank you very much for the super chats that are coming in, by the way. Make sure you smash a like and subscribe. But I suppose the big thing is that a lot of people are talking about is timing too perfect for the Glazers, says Jude. The big thing for me is what happens next with Ronaldo. Is there any chance that he comes back in January and nobody takes him? Is there any chance that United don't terminate the contract? Is there any chance that United try and throw him into the reserves? These would all be bad things for me. He has to go in January and we have to support that move even if we don't like it. And what I mean by that is United have to sever ties. They cannot say you can go, but you can only go to Sporting Lisbon. You're not going to another Champions League team. We can't do stuff like that. This is severance. This is cut ties. This is, as many people have said, Ronaldo ain't good enough anymore. He's fell off. We're better off without Ronaldo. He's no good anymore. He sits on the bench for Ten Hag. If that's the stance of the club, you let him go. And if he goes and scores goals for Chelsea or PSG or somebody else, and we look foolish, then most of our fan base have said he's past it. Most of our fan base have said we're better off without him. Ten Hag's benched him. United have been part of that. So you can't have it both ways. We need to cut ties and let him go wherever he goes. You can't say you're not good enough, you're past it, but you're not going to a club that thinks you're not past it. We just have to sever ties. And I think it would be interesting. It'd be very interesting if he ended up at PSG or Chelsea. It'd be very interesting if he goes to any other Champions League club. I don't know where he'll end up, but I think if he's a free agent, there may be a club that goes for him, and then there's another chapter, isn't there? But for us, the chapter has to close. I think Man United have to just realise that we messed this up in August. There should have been a new striker here, and Ronaldo should have gone. We messed it up. We've just got to get out of it. We've got to get out of it because you can't sit and negotiate with Ronaldo now. Who's going to negotiate with him? He's going to throw everybody under the bus, whether it's Richard Arnold, Murta, the Glazers, board members, players, coaches. Everyone's getting thrown under the bus. So the only conversation is the one with George Mendes. Just sever ties and move on. Don't you think Erik ten Hag mismanaged the Ronaldo from the start by not giving him a run of games to find his form? Benching him for Rashford never made sense to me, who misses more chances than he scores, says Michelle. I seriously think we will get Depay on a free in January. There are reports that Barca and Depay have mutually agreed to terminate contract. Who knows? We could do. Watch this fan base argue with each other rather than focusing on what's the underlying issue. The owners, Ronaldo isn't our enemy and the Glazers are, says Mattis. Won't affect new signings. Of course this will affect new signings, says Tip. Why would it affect new signings? Why would it affect new signings? Would it stop Anthony coming to Manchester United? No. Would it have stopped Martinez coming to Man United? No. Would it stop Malacia coming or Ericsson? No. Not every football fan is in the Ronaldo fan club. Not every player is in the Ronaldo fan club. So if United want to sign Conrad Lema, do you think he's going to go, I'm not coming there because of that interview? I think Ben Foster hit the nail on the head. I heard on a podcast today somebody say those Man United players, they'll be fuming. They'll be fuming with Ronaldo. And what did Ben Foster say? They won't. That's not how footballers work. They'll just be like, modern footballers won't be fuming. They'll be like, he's not mentioned me. Makes my job easier if he goes, but I'm off to a world club. Delo's on the next exercise bike to him today. Bruno may well be sat having a meal with him now. That is not an issue. The players are not going to be fuming with Cristiano Ronaldo. This is for Manchester United to resolve. And it won't affect new signings for that reason. Ronaldo is a winner. He tried to change the team mentality, and what he got back was disrespect to him and his family for having a sick child after losing one, says Iron Man. Of course, it will impact future signings. Bellingham, Haaland already rejected you lot before this happened, says Connor. Every young footballer will take note. I completely disagree with you, Connor. You're now merging two stories. New signings won't come. Certain signings like Bellingham and Haaland won't come to us because we're not in the Champions League and we're not near winning titles. Somebody else just said the Ronaldo interview will be a reason for players not to come to us. No, you're wrong. You're completely wrong. People won't come to us because we're not in the Champions League and we're not near winning titles. Ronaldo's interview won't be a reason for players not to come here. I'm telling you now. Rooney's clear of Ronaldo. I say we settle it with a boxing match. Cold Bridges ref. Love the jumper and World Cup ad, by the way, says Jack. Hi, Mark. Love your commercial video. Well done. I think maybe Ronaldo did this to review to put pressure on Glazers out of love to United. Do you think this interview will put pressure on Glazers, says Said. And Mark, don't you think this could be the catalyst for bigger action and more serious action against the Glazers, says Max A. I really hope it is. I hope it is really serious ramifications for the Glazers, because that's a very separate thing to Ronaldo, and we do need that to happen. It's very obvious what will happen. Ronaldo will end up going to Chelsea or PSG, will score goals and win trophies and make all these Twitter scumbags look fools, says Cold Blood. I mean, would I be bothered? I'm not bothered. I'm not bothered about answering this. Would it bother me if Cristiano Ronaldo went to Chelsea or PSG? No. Because you can't have your cake and eat it. You can't say he's finished, we're better off without him, and sit him on the bench and then say you're not going to Chelsea and PSG. We've had our chance with Ronaldo. He's he's in the wrong, but we can't say you're not good enough to play for us, but you're not going somewhere else. As I said, we need to sever ties and let Ronaldo go off wherever he wants to go, whoever wants him. He's not our player anymore. So we've made that decision. We can't be, you're not going there, but we're not going to use you. He's either finished or he's not. If we think he's finished, which is the evidence we've had over the last few weeks, then he has to be allowed to go. Crazy theory, but if Ronaldo never had any issues with Erik ten Hag, just having a go at the Glazers and said Erik ten Hag, actions between Erik ten Hag and him doesn't add up, says Sean. There's definitely more to come. What do you think Sir Alex Ferguson would say to Ronaldo if they were to meet tomorrow, given how Fergie himself dealt with Beckham, Keane and Van Nistelrooy, says Joseph? Look, I don't bring Sir Alex Ferguson into this, but the relationship between Sir Alex Ferguson and Ronaldo has always been like father-son thing. So I don't think Sir Alex Ferguson is ever going to say anything bad about him. A lot of people are mentioning my ad. This was the video I was telling you about. Please do give it a watch. I've dropped the link in the chat, on the live chat, and it's also in the video description. If you don't know what it's all about, you don't need to go and watch it now because I'm still going to be live for a bit, but this is just a bit of a hint of what it's all about, and it's a full behind-the-scenes mockumentary. That's not it.
Gary, come on. I'm Mark Goldbridge. I've got a massive magic shoot to shoot here. Nothing is happening. We're constipated. Goldbridge flying through the air like Bruce Willis with his top off. What the fuck? Come back. We're not having lunch. There's a creator stuck in here. No! Why are you not doing anything?
Who gives a shit, isn't it?
That is by far one of the best creative ideas I've seen.
Gary, come on. I'm Mark Goldbridge. I've got a massive magic shoot to shoot here. Nothing is happening. We're constipated. Goldbridge flying through the air like Bruce Willis with his top off.
Sorry, everybody. I was just reading something on Twitter there. You can watch the full episode of that. It's 15 minutes long, from pitch to behind the scenes, everything. Make sure you check it out. Links in the video description, and it's in the live chat. Lots of people have messaged me saying they've watched it twice, so I'm really interested in your views on it. So please do give it a watch and drop a comment on there. I've read nearly all of them, and I really appreciate it. Arthur says it's shameless self-promotion. So I do a video of me and you're watching me and it's self-promotion. Couldn't give a shit, mate. Watch it or don't watch it, but you know, I really appreciate your opinions. We've built this community and I would love you to watch it because it means a lot. It should be focused on the owners and the position of the club rather than personal feelings towards the staff and why he hasn't been picked, says Liam. The real losers here were Erik ten Hag for adopting this mess and fans in many ways, all due to the Glazer and Woodward mismanagement. My God, we need no owners, says Dis. Let Ronaldo go where it doesn't matter, and please let us move on. Back Ten Hag and let him rebuild the club and make it blossom. Piers Morgan is just a bitter gooner who hates Manchester United, says Eric. And I hope this situation shows that you can't go home again. Please let's not resign any form of players, says Stephen. And the fact that he wants to go to City in the first place and we dragged him to United, we cannot afford to mess things up after that, says GJ. I do think that there is a nostalgia problem at Manchester United. I mean, look, we're dealing with it. You know, we're down in the sand dealing with this at the moment. But there is an opportunity to climb in the helicopter and survey the whole story. And it does go back to, you know, is Ronaldo's second stint at United a success or a failure? Well, it is a failure. But I do also think that, you know, I've heard people say that, oh, okay, Ronaldo was player of the year last year and he scored 18 goals in the worst ever Premier League Man United side, but we might have done better without him. I'm like, 18 Premier League goals in the worst ever Premier League side. I mean, it's not hard. It's not easy to score 18 Premier League goals. I mean, that's ridiculous what he did last year, by the way. So no, I don't think we can write. I think the first season was excellent and the second season's been an absolute joke. In a bad way, not a funny way. But I think you can trace this back to, we made a decision and we keep making this decision at Manchester United where we didn't need Ronaldo, but it was like, you're not having him, so we're going to get him. We did it with Alexis Sanchez. Man City wanted Sanchez and we paid stupid money to get Sanchez. Man City even wanted Fred and we paid silly money to get Fred. But Ronaldo was the one. Man City wanted Ronaldo and we were like, you're not having Ronaldo. We pulled on the heartstrings. We got Sir Alex Ferguson involved and we paid massive money. And it's that whole thing that's going on again now, isn't it? I can imagine United saying, we'll terminate your contract, but you can't go to PSG. And it's like, we can't be like that. We've got to look at our own problems. You know, depriving somebody else of something good because we don't want them to have it when we've not built anything. We've got to build our own thing. We've got to stay in lane. If Ronaldo leaves and goes to PSG, or Ronaldo had gone to Man City instead of us, it wouldn't have been ideal, but we need to focus on us. We can't just go, you're not having it, and spend a load of money on something that really... Did we need Cristiano Ronaldo under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? I loved it. But did we need Ronaldo? We needed a bloody CDM. We bought Ronaldo, Varane and Sancho, and yet we started the season with McTominay and Fred. So whether we needed Varane or Sancho or Ronaldo, the bottom line is we needed a bloody Casemiro. And we went and spent a shitload of money on Varane, Sancho and Ronaldo. And everyone was like, what a great summer it's been. But I remember at the start of the season saying, we haven't got a midfield. And everyone else did. So you can trace this back to, again, and Solskjaer's got to take responsibility. The director of football has, the CEO has, and the owners have. The Ronaldo signing was a dream come true. And I loved it, and we all loved it. But when you look back at it, it was the wrong signing, because we didn't need to spend £500,000 a week on a forward. We needed a midfielder. So you can trace it back. And Ronaldo should have had his eyes wide open as well. I mean, who's advising him? What's his interest in football beyond what he does day to day? Did he not look at United or speak to Bruno Fernandes and, you know, figure out that the midfield was shit, or that the infrastructure at the club wasn't very good? I think it was a mistake on Ronaldo's part, maybe driven by money, maybe driven by nostalgia. And it was a mistake on Manchester United's part, living in a dream world of nostalgia. Solskjaer was nostalgia, Ronaldo was nostalgia, and we've got to stop doing it. It's like when people are on about Rooney. I don't want Rooney back at Man United. What's Rooney done to deserve a job as a coach or a manager or assistant coach? I want Ten Hag's. I want Martinez. I want people who've got nothing to do with Man United, but come to Manchester United because they are very, very talented and have loads of potential as a manager or as a player. Because guess what? Roy Keane had never played for Man United youth. He came from Nottingham Forest. Paul Ince hadn't played for Man United youth. He came from bloody West Ham. Van Nistelrooy was from PSV. So, all right, we had the class of 92, Ryan Giggs. Cantona came from Leeds. Sir Alex Ferguson came from Aberdeen. The list goes on and on. Brian Robson came from West Brom. It's like, we don't need to go down memory lane. Leave the past in the past. Build the future. And, I think United need to stop doing it, because it's been very, very, very costly and very time wasting. Just seeing the new clip about Ronaldo's daughter in hospital. If true, then I understand Ronaldo feels disrespected. Sometimes we forget he's human. I'm not aware of this new clip, but I'm sure it'll be coming out. So I'll try and find it now. For us, it was a great signing. For him, it was a huge mistake, says Kay. I'm sure it's being quoted somewhere. So let's just have a quick look here. So basically, Cristiano Ronaldo has told Piers Morgan he felt doubted by his Man United bosses when he told them that his newborn daughter was sick. They didn't believe that something was going wrong. That's never going to be a good look for Manchester United, is it? That's never going to be a good look. It's the sort of thing that's going to, quite rightly, this isn't football, this is human. And I think it's going to be... without question. I'm just going to listen to it, and then I can, if I listen to it, then I can tell you what it says. Manchester United executives are talking to lawyers about how to punish Ronaldo for his criticism of the club and Ten Hag. The extraordinary interview was not authorised by United, who dispute many of the players' claims. Man United are actively seeking to move Ronaldo on in the next window and will not demand a fee. There is a growing sense that Ronaldo will not be able to secure a leading European club. He may have to take a hugely reduced demands and make a homecoming to Sporting in Portugal, or revise his plans and look at the MLS. I mean, look, that's irrelevant. I mean, if anything, that probably I don't think it matters. I actually would say it doesn't really matter. I think some people are getting so... I heard somebody today going, nobody wants him. Nobody wants him. He's crap. He's finished. I don't know what he's moaning about. He's no good anymore. He's crap. He'll probably end up playing in the Saudi Arabian League. And I'm like, you're coming across as a bit bitter there. I mean, does it really matter whether he goes to the Saudi Arabian League, the MLS, Sporting Lisbon, PSG, Chelsea? If you think he's shit and past it, then why are you moaning about it? You either want him at United or you don't. And a lot of people think he's shit and past it. So let him go and score goals for Chelsea. Let him do it for PSG. You think he's shit and past it, let him go. If he ends up in the MLS, so what? He'll be playing for Portugal next week. He'll be starting for Portugal up front next week. We'll all get to see just how shit and past it he is. So, I'm not really fussed about that and where he's going to go. I think the most important thing is that United draw a line under this very, very quickly. I don't think it's in any, we're hearing a lot about United are speaking to lawyers about where they stand. The only lawyers they need to speak to are employment lawyers about severing the contract. That's what needs to happen. We can't start looking at suing or going to court about this because, Ronaldo, as much as people don't like it, I keep hearing people say nobody's bigger than Manchester United. Absolutely. Absolutely. As a Manchester United fan, nobody should be bigger than Manchester United. Yeah, you're right. But I tell you what, if you spoke to a Liverpool fan or a Chelsea fan or a Swindon fan and you said Man United's bigger than Ronaldo, they may well say to you, you might be right, but he's pretty fucking big. Like, he's pretty big as a brand. Do you want to be suing someone like that and going through all of that? Because if you sue someone, it's basically a court case where loads of stuff will come out. And I don't for 1 minute think we're going to end up in that situation because United won't want it and Ronaldo won't want it. This is about severing the contract. And I'm sure United will feel very pissed off. And I'm sure they'll feel like they don't want to give Ronaldo what he wants. But ultimately, that interview is a vehicle to get what he wants. He wants to go and he wants to make it untenable. And it is. And we should have dealt with this in a more mature way in August, but we didn't. And now it's a mess. I agree with what Fabrizio said on the show this afternoon. This was always going to happen. It should have been dealt with in August, and you could see it was going to happen. You can't just sit a player on the bench and, not use them and expect them to sit there and go, that's fine. Not a player like Ronaldo. And that doesn't make what Ronaldo's done right. It makes it completely wrong. But just because it's wrong doesn't mean it wasn't going to happen. Erik Ten Hag has got every right to stick Ronaldo on the bench. He's got every right not to pick him. He's got every right not to sub him on. He's got every right to do whatever he wants because he is the manager. Absolutely. But somebody in that club should have realised that when you do that to Ronaldo, you're doing it to a player who for the whole of his career basically has done what he likes because he's one of the greatest players to ever play the game. Cristiano Ronaldo, under Sir Alex Ferguson, I lived it. He could do what he bloody likes. Didn't have to track back. Didn't have to work as hard as Rooney because he was a match winner. And if you stick a player like that on the bench, whether they're 17, 27 or 37, they're going to react in a certain way. And somebody at United should have seen it coming. They should have said to Erik Ten Hag, are you planning to use him? And Erik Ten Hag would have said, no, I'd like to move him on. And they should have moved him on because they should have seen that it was going to end this way. So I think United have a part in this, their naivety. But of course, Ronaldo is, he's got to take full responsibility for his actions as well. Feeling doubted isn't being doubted also, though, Mark. This is all how he personally feels, not actual truth, says Biggie. And Mark, sorry off topic, but what are your thoughts on Anthony training today with Brazil, even though he couldn't play yesterday, says Vincent? Yeah, Anthony was in full training with Brazil today. I mean, no comment. I mean, I'm not. This is a player that's signed for us that I really like. He's an exciting player, but I did say this is an example of putting the World Cup over Manchester United, and Ten Hag, I think, was on board with it. Apparently, I got told that Anthony had actually trained with United on Saturday. I don't know whether that's true. He probably isn't fit to play against Fulham in fairness, but it does rub you up the wrong way when, we won yesterday. It doesn't matter. I think Anthony is very dedicated to the Manchester United, and ultimately I think he's going to be a really good player. But look, is it a surprise that he's training for Brazil today? No, it isn't. Why can't these Americans stop suing? Just resolve this quietly and internally, says Nandi. I don't think they will. I don't think that. I'd be very, very, very surprised if they did sue, to be honest with you. Sue. Remember we were all doing that? Well done on the ad video. I thought it was classic, Bridge. Will you do a mock video of Piers interviewing you as Ronaldo after everything comes out? Says Ian Hamley. No, I don't think I will do. Just as a reminder, by the way, we have still got some Christmas jumpers left. They are knitted. They are fantastic. Christmas is coming. Goldbridge is getting fat. I will be getting fat. I was on the chocolate. Mrs. Goldbridge came back from Aldi today with some stuff to put in the Christmas cupboard, and there's nothing in there. But she had a Terry's chocolate orange, and I ate half of it with a cup of tea. I love it, so I need to get down the gym. But you can get one of these. We ship them worldwide, and the link is in the video description. Worldwide, and they are knitted with the 20 number on the back because it commemorates 20 titles. 13 Premier Leagues and 17 Old Division 1s with a lovely pattern on them. Make sure you check those out. And also, we've got another design out because I know a lot of people liked the... I think we did a Cantona one a couple of years, didn't we, ago? We've got a brand new one out. Three Kings Christmas sweatshirt, as you can see there. That's out as well. Links in the video description if you fancy that one. So a couple of Christmas designs out for you this year. If you're getting in that mood of getting a Christmas jumper. Remember, get hold of them because if you do live worldwide, there will be a bit of a time for it to get delivered. So get your orders in there. Let's have a look back at the chat, see what people are saying. Well done on the ad video. We've done that. And people are calling me fat. And Mark, will be interesting to see how Delo and Bruno react to this as they play with him in Qatar. Sire, look, I think the interview we did with Ben Foster this morning was fantastic because I just wanted to ask that one question. How will the players in the dressing room react to this? Ben Foster's been in a Premier League dressing room for the last, 15, 20 years, I don't know. And he said that this is an absolute joke that players will be outraged. They won't be outraged at all because Ronaldo has been training professionally. They'll be disappointed, they might be sad, they might be relieved, but they won't be outraged because that's not how the modern footballer is. This is Man United's problem to solve. Some of the players will be messaging Ronaldo because they get on with him. Some of the players will be like, to be honest, they should have let him go in August. Some of the players will be just like, protective of Ten Hag, but probably understanding of Ronaldo in some ways and saying that the club should have let him go. Don't pretend that players have woke up this morning and they're banging their fists on the table going, it's a bloody outrage. I mean, some of these players were leaking to the press all over the place a few months ago. So the modern player looks after themselves. I don't think the players will be outraged. It's the fans. It's the fans that matter. We are the lifeblood of the club. And, there's a lot of fans I know that have supported United for years and will remember the Ronaldo years vividly, and they're very, very pissed off. That's all I'm cared about. That's all I care about. It's the fans, isn't it? And I show us the back. There's a 2. That's who I care about, the fans, and that's why for me it's hugely disappointing that we're being drip fed like a bunch of prats waiting for it to happen. I've just seen a comment here on Twitter. Richard Arnold and John Murtaugh not believing Ronaldo's family issue is the most disgusting thing ever. Not only are they shit at their jobs, but they're also shit people. That's now been deleted because I don't think that's a very fair quote at all. I'm just trying to see if there's well, there's a quote from Fabrizio Romano, which I think we can take as true. He says, I couldn't make pre-season because of family issue. Board and president of Man United kind of didn't believe that something was going wrong. It made me feel bad. It hurts me. We spent 1 week in hospital, but they doubted my words. Board and president of Manchester United. So who would be the board and the president of Manchester United? I mean, you are talking about Richard Arnold there, aren't you? You're potentially talking about Joel Glazer as well. Yeah, I mean, it's not a good look, is it? It's not a good look when stuff like that is going on. It's not a good look at all. And people are going to have a lot of empathy with that side of things. But Ronaldo obviously felt doubted by the club. I mean, that's nothing to do with Ten Hag, which I'm I'm glad that there's nothing about Ten Hag on that. I mean, I don't know where anybody else sits on this, but my hope is that the Ten Hag thing is... my hope is that that the only thing we hear about Ten Hag is the disrespect comment. I don't want to hear Ten Hag being attached to not believing him about his daughter being ill. Because, I mean, with all fairness, I think even United would probably agree on this. Richard Arnold and the Glazers will be well used to being the target of incompetence. So, look, I just hope the next phase of Ronaldo comments focus on the Glazers and the board. I really don't, and I don't know whether it's going to happen, but I really don't want to hear about negativity towards Ten Hag, because I don't think it helps anyone. I don't think it helps Ronaldo, and it certainly doesn't help us as fans, because this is the manager we want to believe in. This is the manager we want to get behind. So I don't want to hear things about Ten Hag being attached to any of the doubts or anything like that. So I suppose that is a positive, that he's not naming Erik Ten Hag as being somebody that doubted him. Mario says, I understand his family problems, but let's not pretend that his agent was looking for a move before Erik Ten Hag arrived. Blame goes both ways, to be fair, says Mario Franco. Well, you know, I think you make Mario. I think this is really difficult. That you make a great point, and this is why, for me, I keep saying I've got to hear this whole interview, and this is why I keep getting very frustrated with Ronaldo and Piers, because they are playing the game, the social media game, of drip feeding us like it's a bloody Marvel movie. But we're Manchester United fans, and football fans are very passionate, and I don't agree with the whole, oh, you know, I love the fans, you know, I'll always love the fans, but then you are leaving us hanging for 3 or 4 days so that you can milk a story about our football club. Just put the fucking interview out so we can make our minds up, because you've got people who are like, I'm not going to make my mind up until I've heard the full interview. But you've got other people going, get out of my fucking club. And you can understand that. That's human nature. But I personally can't really make a judgment until I listen to the whole interview, because I need the whole interview for context. There might be some real bits of eye-opening, wow, that goes on at Man United, that's a bloody disgrace, which would be hugely impactful and maybe help the Glazer out movement. But there may well be stuff that in there that's just bang out of order about players or the manager, where you go, oh my God, I can't believe he said that. But until we get it all, we're living on scraps, and people are making their mind up on scraps. And, you know, in a previous life, I did a job where you don't make your mind up on a little bit, you go and get the whole story, and we need the whole story. And I am, you know, it has backfired on Ronaldo to a certain extent with Man United fans. I don't think non-United fan Ronaldo fans, I think they'll back him because they love him. Of course they will. But United fans, we are getting a bit pissed off. And, you know, I'm sure Piers Morgan couldn't give a shit about Man United fans either. But we are being played by Piers and Ronaldo. Whether we like it or not, we are being played like a piano. We deserve the truth. Apparently we're going to get the truth, but we're going to get the truth on their terms like it's a bloody Marvel movie. Give us the truth. Give us the truth and stop treating United fans like this. It's not fair. Why would the club believe him when he was training at the sporting facilities and his agent ran around Europe at the same time? He's playing the victim. Actually, I think that's a disgusting comment. I mean, that's an absolutely unfounded, insensitive, disgusting comment. So you're basically saying that his 3-month-old daughter, who's in hospital for a week, he's faking it. Do you know the background of that story? They were twins, and one of them died. And then he's got a 3-month-old daughter who's in hospital, and you're saying, you know, well, he's training at Sporting. He's a professional athlete. I imagine he was training at Sporting to keep his fitness up, and then going back and forth to the hospital. There's no way on this earth he's getting on a plane to go to Australia when his 3-month-old daughter is in hospital. Come on, have a bit of sensitivity. I get it. I get the frustration with what's going on, but there is also the human element there. I think on that aspect, you've got to be very, very careful about going in on Ronaldo. I think that's bang out of order, to be honest with you. What if this is one big master plan that Erik ten Hag and the squad is on to expose the Glazers? It'd be a great story, Chris. I don't think it's true. I don't think it's true, but there you go. But look, life is multi-layered. There are layers. If you watch Game of Thrones, Jaime Lannister, he's very evil, but then there is good in him. And life is like that. Akshay says he apologises. It's absolutely fine, mate. And, no one's going to hold it against you. But I just think on that, there's many reasons to have a pop at Ronaldo. He shouldn't have done this interview with Piers Morgan. It shouldn't be being drip-fed. He shouldn't have said what he said about Rangnick and Ten Hag. And it is time to go. And on all those things, I completely agree with you. But I think on the family thing, if United have made a man or a woman, but in this case it's a man, feel like they're lying about their 3-month daughter being ill in hospital, then United have an issue. Now, we need both sides to that story. Of course we do. And even from what I'm reading, it's Ronaldo's perception that they didn't believe him. United can quite easily say, well, we did. But, you know what? This story will run and run. But I just want it to get resolved now. I want it to get dealt with. And I think we all do. And I don't like the drip, drip, drip effect. It's getting on my nerves. Anyway, we will see what comes next, of course. But you know what? Leave Akshay alone. Look, everybody... I don't agree with some of the comments there. Look, we're a community. It's a passionate time. And Akshay's probably just very pissed off about the whole situation, as many of us are. And, he's apologised for the comment. I mean, it's an opinion. It's not offensive. It's just an opinion. So leave him alone and let's not be that sort of community, because we never have been. Mark Ronaldo also said Man United didn't care about his son. Says Apple, well, I don't know about this. I mean, these sort of things are going to come out. Of course, what I would say as well is we are being manipulated. We are being manipulated. This is why I don't like what's happening with this interview, because if you are a media specialist, you take the 90 minutes and you go, release that bit, it will make people feel that way. Now release this bit, it will make people feel that way. Now release this tomorrow because it will make them feel that way. It's a roller coaster. We're being played. We're being manipulated, because that's what that media is all about. They're not lying to us. They're just giving us little snippets to make us feel this way, this way, this way, to build to the real thing. We are being absolutely played and manipulated. And my argument is, if there is real, genuine care for Manchester United fans from Ronaldo's side, then this interview should just get released. Because you are manipulating and playing with people's emotions in a way that is like you're releasing a new series of Game of Thrones. And actually, Manchester United is an institution. It is a religion to many people. It's our football club. I don't want to be treated like I'm waiting for a Marvel movie. I just want the truth. I can handle the truth. Give us the full truth so we can analyse it in our own way and make our own minds up. But we're not getting the truth. We're getting this little bit. We're getting that little bit. We're getting this little bit. There's no context behind it because we don't know what the minute before and the minute after was. I don't like that. I really, genuinely do not agree with the way that this interview is being played out, because we are being treated like twats. And it should just be put out. If there is genuine respect for Manchester United fans, this interview should have gone out straight away. And we shouldn't be being drip-fed like this, like some sort of circus. And that's what bothers me, because there's clearly very serious topics in there. You're talking about, serious family issues. You're talking about, the future of Manchester United and all sorts. So I think I wish it had been released as one. But we will have to deal with the situation as it is, of course. Look, thanks everyone for watching tonight. We've still got our big announcement on Thursday. We're not dripping anything. We will just give you the announcement on Thursday. Big announcement for that. That's not going to change. What else? Yeah, Christmas jumpers. If you want to get hold of these knitted jumpers, they are available. They ship worldwide. I'd get your order in now because it is the 14th of November and the Christmas party season will be starting soon. And I'm just going to play you this again. The link is in the video description. Please, please, please do give it a watch. It's 15 minutes long. It's something very, very different. It's sort of like a mockumentary of me filming a World Cup ad for Wash and Go. Really interesting. All I'll say is watch out for Gary. Gary's a legend. He's not in it much, but Gary is the GOAT of the video as far as I'm concerned. I'm just going to play you a little teaser, and then you can go and watch the full thing. Links in the live chat, or it's in the video description. Please go and watch it. If you like my content, if you like the United Stand, it would be a real gift just to go and watch it and tell me what you think. Appreciate it.
Gary, come on. I'm Mark Goldbridge. I've got a massive...
What I'll do is I'll actually turn the audio on this time.
Gary, come on. I'm Mark Goldbridge. I've got a massive magic shoot to shoot here. Nothing is happening. We're constipated. Goldbridge flying through the air like Bruce Willis with his top off. What the fuck? Come back. We're not having lunch. There's a creator stuck in here. No! Why are you not doing anything?
Who gives a shit anyway?
That is by far one of the best creative ideas I've seen.
That is out now. You can go and watch it through the link in the chat or the link in the description. Please go and give it a watch. 10 minutes of your time. You never know, you might enjoy it. Some people said they've loved it. They've watched it 2 or 3 times. Some people say it's a wish episode of Hollyoaks. Give it your watch. Give it your thoughts. Lewis Smith with the final super chat says, what are the chances you get mentioned in the interview? Absolutely none. Absolutely none. And I will be very happy without that. And Michael says, is Ronaldo just looking for a team where he's going to play every minute of every game? At 38, is that reasonable for him to expect that? Hello from New York City. Michael, I don't know. I don't know. I think that's a conversation in itself, but I don't think it's our conversation. He just needs to leave United like he wants to, and we need to let him go. What he thinks he's capable of doing isn't really our problem, is it? You know, he can't play every game for Man United. It's sort of improved this season. Is that because he doesn't want to be here? Is it because he can't, you know, he's not good enough anymore? If he went to a Chelsea or a PSG or a Sporting Lisbon, would he rediscover the form of last year? I don't know. But it's over at United and it needs to be moved quickly, doesn't it? Please check out that video. Links in the video description. And it's in